Hey guys, welcome back to the Hood Knees Fantasy Football Podcast. This is episode 13. We're doing week 2. We're going to go with studs and duds this week. I got with me MFB and BBTV.
AKA Bench 550.
All right, we're asking enough out of you. And it's your host, Keem. Let's just go ahead and jump right in. We're going to start with the QBs. Studs. You already know, Kyler Murray on top performer of the week. Yeah, he did his thing, 3 touchdowns. He had 266 passing yards, 5 attempts on the ground for 59 yards. Him and Marvin Harrison connected. They did great. That was, great performance. Overall, in my opinion. Are you guys good?
Yeah.
Wake up, bro. Wake up.
I'm here. What you call it? Yeah, Kyler Murray did his thing, man. He's the go-to guy. Is he going to be dropping 28 points like that every single week, 25 plus? I don't really see it. I feel like the Rams were just like, they beat themselves a little bit. But I feel like Kyler Murray for sure is going to be a minimum 20-point player and just be that kind of stud. So if you got Kyler Murray, good job to you.
Yeah, I think he was hyped a lot in the preseason and in drafts to be like finish top 5 or 4 QB. I'm surprised he didn't do a lot of rushing. So I don't know. That's interesting to see in future games if he'll be rushing a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
But in a game like that against the Rams, he didn't need to, right? He missed only 4 passes and he was able to connect with 7 different receivers. So if the arm is working out for him, then it seems to be good, right? But I'm interested to see if he'll use his legs a lot more soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's hope so. That'll huge value there if you can keep doing that. Next we have Jalen Hurts, who Monday Night Football did his thing. He only had 183 yards. He did throw an interception at the end, which kind of brought his point total down. But he had a pass touchdown. He had 13 rushing attempts for 85 yards, and he had that push touchdown. Which I'm glad to see. Especially anyone else that drafted him. You expect those goal line touches to go to him, and it looks like from last week and this week, it looks like the Eagles are gonna keep using Jalen Hurts with the touch push. They're not gonna use Saquon to do anything. Like, they might switch it up, but going forward, it looks like touch push is gonna continue. Yeah.
I feel like Jalen Hurts, with AJ Brown being out, because I think AJ Brown's gonna be out for a few more weeks. His upside is very high. I feel like he's gonna just use his legs so much more. So
Right.
Jalen Hurts is gonna be solid for the next few weeks.
Right, in terms of fantasy, they could win the game.
100%. No, fantasy, 100%. Yeah.
This guy is he's a stud top to bottom. You drafted him as the second or first QB off the board, right, in your drafts. His rushing was super good against the Falcons tonight in Monday Night Football. And the tush push, they got it down, looks like, right? Compared to last week, right? They wasn't really trying it a
Brazil.
lot. They wasn't really, pushing forward in a lot of plays, but they seem to have got it down and it looks unstoppable still.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. They added a rule that if you're going to push, you have to be at least 1 yard behind the snapper or something like that. I don't know if you guys heard that rule, but they did adjust the rule to make it like less OP, but it still works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows if they add another rule to that? Let's move on. Derek Carr, the third performer in this week. The Saints QB, dude. He had 2 passing touchdowns. He had an interception. He only rushed once, but for 1 yard. But he did get in the end zone with that rush. He kind of sneaked his way in the end zone. Hey, I did not expect to say Derek Carr's name as a stud.
I did.
Season.
I did 100%. I had the Saints killing the Cowboys. If you didn't listen to that last episode, go back, clip it real quick. I had the Saints dogging the Cowboys. Derek Carr, top 3 performer of the week. Come on now. It was obvious, bro. Come on, it's obvious. But man, yeah, Derek Carr playing like 2016 Carr. So if you can pick up Derek Carr, waiver pickup, and you need a quarterback, use that waiver pick. Trust me. Derek Carr is not slowing down.
Yeah, we'll talk about him in the waiver section.
I I mean, yeah, no, real talk. All credit to him, right? And the Saints, right? That was definitely a game where they were down. I wish I could pull up like how much the Dallas was favored, right? As far as like Vegas prop,
right?
But
minus 7.5.
That's
Favorite?
insane.
Yeah.
Right? So if they were that heavily favored and Saints go out there and do that, Derek Carr did his thing, bro.
Yeah.
The offense is looking much better. You know, especially with the new coaching tree, you know, kind of like
you mentioned.
I was excited to see. And I mean, again, credits Derek Carr among both weeks, only 9 incompletions. So
yeah,
it's pretty good, man.
He's doing well. Yeah, no, he's picking it up for sure. I mean, not many more studs after that. So we're gonna move on to wide receivers. Let's start with Marvin Harrison Jr., the top wide receiver of the week. Feel me? The Cardinals are everywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That team is full of studs. He did great. I mean, he only had 4 receptions, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was targeted 8 times, but only 4 receptions. I mean, he's doing what the Cardinals drafted him to do. In my opinion, this was coming. They had to show that it was worth the draft capital. So the coaches schemed some stuff up, got him the ball, targeted him heavily in the first quarter. I think he had both touchdowns in the first quarter, no?
Yeah.
Right off the bat, yeah.
Little back-to-back action.
Crazy.
Wild.
So, just to note, you know, if you listen to our week 2 preview, I gave a lot of different wide receiver grades, and a lot of them were kind of misses. I'm not going to lie.
A lot of them.
But this one I called literally on the money. I literally mentioned Rams have a soft high 2 coverage compared to the Bills. I literally said if Marvin goes vertical, he could beat that coverage, and that's literally exactly what happened in the first quarter.
Yeah.
So
Marvin Harrison, man, looking like Megatron out there, dude. Stud.
Doing his thing, right?
Yeah.
All right, we also got DK Metcalf, who, thank God, picked it up. Last week, he was terrible. This week, he had nice performance, 14 targets, 10 receptions, 129 yards, and a touchdown. Thank God. Whoever is DK Metcalf owner is happy right now. I mean, do you guys think he keeps up this sort of production? I mean, I think people were speculative that it was a press conference or something that he said that they're going to run the ball more or something like that.
Well, the thing is, they go for it.
Go ahead.
Okay.
No, you go. No, you go.
So pretty much they had Kenneth Walker out, you know. So pretty much that run game, whatever they said in that press conference, kind of went down the trash a little bit. They threw the ball significantly that game, and so DK Metcalf, as long as Kenneth Walker doesn't play, I feel like DK Metcalf can outperform a lot of receivers in the league. So, but I still think he keeps up like the way he performed. Just slight drop off, just a little bit. But I said before the season, go get a Seattle player. Him, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. Trust me, go pick them up.
Yep. So I did mention that they would be leaning on the run, but that was per the press conference with the coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, as far as like coach speak is a factor, right? This is a new coach, right? So we don't know how much he'd be capping, basically.
Yeah.
Right? But apparently he was smoke screening,
mm-hmm.
right? Because he threw a lot, bro. Geno Smith threw, I think, 44 times.
That's crazy.
You know, and DK saw 14 of those times. So, and that's also what the preseason prediction was, that, you know, this coach from UW is heavy on passing. So maybe that's just what they went to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hey, he's doing his thing. He did great. Let's move on. Malik Nabers, he thankfully finally did something. I mean, I didn't think he was going to do much with Daniel Jones, but 10 receptions, 18 targets, 127 yards, 1 touchdown. I think it was another receiver that picked up another touchdown, took a touchdown off him. But I mean, this is what the Giants drafted him for, to come in and be the target leader and to win them games. And they still lost.
Yeah, I would honestly like Malik Nabers. He's cool, and I know he had a great performance, but he was playing the Commanders. So, and the Commanders will have a bottom 5 secondary. So I think you let this man go off for a few more games. He's got Cleveland coming up. Then he has Dallas. Ooh. Then he has, honestly, you could probably sell him after Cleveland, to be honest. So
you could probably sell him now. Cleveland defense is going to pressure Daniel Jones.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm not a fan of having Giants players. That's just my opinion. I think you sell this man, put him in a combo with a running back to get yourself a top tier player. But let Neighbors do his thing. But after when he does his thing, trade him away. That's how I see it.
Right? I could see the logic, right? And trust me, I'm no fan of the Giants offense. But like this guy saw a whopping 18 targets, which that's nutty. I think it was something like 60+% target share on the team.
Yeah.
Which I've never heard of in my life. Right. So
yeah, no, they were hyper targeting.
He can separate on routes, bro. So I think I would like to see him against a tougher defense. And see how he does, right? That'll be the tried and true test.
I mean,
but he sees volume. He's talented. I get it. Not everybody's Washington, but he's a great talent and he's great volume again.
Yeah. I mean, Cleveland and Dallas coming up. I mean, we'll see honestly if he can keep it up. I mean, Cleveland, if they can get the ball out to him, I think he'll be okay. But if they pressure Daniel Jones, he's going to just fall apart. Nico Collins next in the studs. I mean, what do you have? 8 receptions on 10 targets, 135 yards and a touchdown. In my opinion, and I think I may have said this before in the podcast, but if I didn't say it before, I'm gonna say it now. I think Houston players are gonna rotate, man. Just like MFB was saying about the Green Bay offensive like receivers. I just think that you're never going to see 2 Houston players in the studs category. I just don't see that happening this season. So if you have a receiver and they blow up like this, you can sell them high. I don't think you're going to get back the value you want. I think you just hope that they blow up for you when you have them.
Yeah. I think Nico Collins is the clear wide receiver one there. That man was eating. I'm very high on Nico Collins. Honestly, I feel like as a fantasy like player, I'm hoping he has like whatever kind of games, and then I go trade for him because he just has so much upside compared to like Tank Dell. Stephon Diggs definitely has the upside, but looking at Tank Dell, he was not there. So I'm high on Nico Collins. Looked great out there.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I think like what BBTB said, he after this week he pretty much proved that he's the number one.
Yeah.
Right. They leaned on him through the air, right? And that was against a tough secondary. So it just kind of goes to show, like, if it's like airing it out downfield, it's going to Nico, right?
Yeah.
Diggs, they definitely use and they utilize him very well. But it's more so like they could rely on Diggs to route his man to man and get open, right? For like a quick grab, 5 yards, 6 yards, get the first down, whatever. As far as like threatening the sideline, it's all Nico.
Yeah.
And he made it insane, like sideline grab, if you guys saw the clip. But
yeah, he did. I saw that.
Crazy.
Yeah. He something to note. He does. The Texans do have a Week 14 bye, so if you have him, you're just gonna have to be without him right before the playoffs. So if you're sitting, okay at the end of the season, regular fantasy season, then you might be able to. If you're winning a lot of your games, you could probably keep him. But if you're not winning, you're gonna need that Week 14. Next, Calvin Ridley. He did pretty solid. He had a rush attempt and he had a rush touchdown. And it was a 10-yard rush. And then he had 4 receptions on 6 targets for 77 yards and a touchdown. In my opinion, he can go off or he can, like, he's hot or cold. I think if you have him, you might be able to sell him. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I like Ridley. I would like Ridley towards the end of the season. Honestly, I wouldn't say he's a league winner, but I feel like he'd be a great flex in the playoffs, dude. Like the last 6 games, he goes against Washington, Jacksonville, Cincinnati, the Colts, and then Jacksonville again. And so if you get him middle of the season, because right now he's high, 22 fantasy points, he's high. But if you once like he starts to drop off a little bit, his value gets lower, and you probably get him in a package or something, I think you go grab him and just stash him on your bench. put him in if one of your top receivers have a bye week. I'm liking Ridley a lot.
I think I also like Ridley so far. I mean, I guess at this point he's proven to be the number one on Titans, right? And the thing with Will Levis and that offense is like Will Levis be chucking it up, right?
Yeah.
So I think Ridley had a 40-yard pass in that game. And he also had a different 40-yard pass just slipped through his hands. Perfect ball. Will Levis put it there, slipped. So that's, tough another stuff. 4+ points for the homie, right? So he's very a boomer bust option in the flex. But that can pay out if you need a high ceiling player to win your matchup.
Exactly.
100%. So we got 5 more names here in the studs. I'm gonna just name these guys off, and then you guys can give me your thoughts. So you have Davante Adams, Justin Jefferson, who got hurt. I don't know the extent of that injury now. We got Chris Godwin, who's been balling out. Quentin Johnston and Rashid Shaheed. Those 2 names are interesting in the studs category. What are your guys' thoughts? I mean, we know Davante Adams, we know Justin Jefferson, Chris Godwin, all great players. But Quentin Johnston and Rashid Shaheed, what do you guys think of them?
Probably just like a ticking time bomb, dude. If I don't know, man.
Ticking time bomb.
Yeah, like literally, like it's too like Rashid Shaheed's phenomenal only on the deep ball. I was watching that game. Great on the deep ball, knows how to take away 2 defenders deep to get that middle wide open. But if he doesn't have that deep ball, he's not that like crazy of a player for fantasy.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man.
Let's focus on Rashid Shaheed for a sec. 4 receptions, 4 targets, 96 yards and a touchdown against Dallas, which is impressive. Their defense is pretty notable. And then he had 3 rush attempts for 13 yards, so just a couple yards on the ground. But I mean, like only 4 targets is. Can you trust it to continue? Can it stay consistent? I don't know. Question marks around that.
I think it's the same like following as we just talked about for Ridley, right?
Right.
Flex option, high ceiling boomer bust, right? In one of my leagues I contemplated starting him. I'm like, yo, like I think he could be like a high ceiling candidate, and he was this week, right?
Yeah.
As far as like, we talked about in other episodes, the pre-snap motion that the Saints were going to use under this new coaching tree.
Right.
And they have been utilizing a lot. And the biggest benefactor of that has been Rashid Shaheed so far.
Yeah.
So I personally like him.
Yeah. I like him. I mean, yeah, if he doesn't get one of those long balls, boomer bust as your flex, if you need, like, you're just, you need that extra higher ceiling, you kind of put him in your lineup, you can start him. Quentin Johnston, do you guys think anything of this? I mean, he had just a side note, I think Justin Herbert is injured. Yeah. 5 receptions, 6 targets, 51 yards, 2 touchdowns. I don't think he repeats this.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
He was playing the Carolina Panthers, man. Carolina Panthers are horrible. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't put him on your bench, try to finesse a homie on a trade. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, just boom.
I think to play devil's advocate here, right? So I'm not a QJ fan by any means.
And, make that clear.
We saw last year the homie has no hands, right? Can't catch. But we have new Chargers, new coach, right? And Harbaugh seems to like him. Like if you watch the game, he was seeing targets in the red zone. Like they literally drew up plays for the man in the red zone. So that's kind of an indicator of like a person you might want.
Yeah.
Right.
Just a thought, right? Now with Herbert gone, I don't know how it'll be, but trust me, those plays seemed not even just red zone, third down, a lot of third down plays. Straight to QJ first look.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I mean, he could be worth some. If you can pick him up and just kind of watch him, or just leave him on the waivers if you want to. You may not need to put in a waiver claim. We'll talk about that in the waivers episode. But yeah, he could continue to be useful for the Chargers. Let's move into the running back studs. Obviously, number 1, Alvin Kamara. He went absolutely crazy. I mean, just tore up Dallas defense. We got BBTV over here smiling.
Brother, smile. It wasn't just crazy, brother. That was mind-boggling, brother. That was insane. That man perform the way he did on Christmas Day a few years back. So
2020.
4 touchdowns, 1 in the air, 3 on the ground, 115 yards on 20 attempts in the ground, 2 receptions for 65 yards in the air. I mean, he won you your week. If you had Alvin Kamara and you lost,
don't ever play fantasy ever again.
Yeah, he needs to play fantasy football. That's a tough loss. Yeah, I mean, I was high on Alvin Kamara coming in, at least in terms of for a PPR league, but we're seeing now that he can do it on the ground, in the air. It doesn't matter.
Well, honestly, I have Alvin Kamara as a league winner. If you have him, don't trade him. If someone has him, go trade for him. Give up a lot of pieces for him. What'd you call it? I was saying before the season, we upgraded our O-line, obviously upgraded our coaching staff. All we needed was Derek Carr to play like 2016 Derek Carr. And he looks like he's the guy right now. He's looking like he's playing like he was in his prime. If Derek Carr keeps it up, Alvin Kamara finishing up there, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, he did great.
Yeah, nothing else to be said. Kamara went beast mode. He was like a mid-round pick, which is paying off immensely. Mm-hmm. So that's definitely stud category for you.
Yeah.
James Cook on the Bills. I mean, that was a Thursday night game. 11 attempts, 78 yards, 2 rush touchdowns, 1 receiving touchdown, 17 yards. Yeah, I don't think his production keeps up. I don't know what you guys think.
I mean, he's not gonna have games like that, but that's incredibly efficient, bro. Mm-hmm. Like he had 29 fantasy points and
on 11 attempts,
touching the ball 12 times.
Yeah.
That's incredibly efficient, right? Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm not crazy surprised. Obviously, the touchdowns help, but he's on a really good offense still. So are we that surprised?
But the thing is though, like with James Cook, like Josh Allen had a chance to take 2 of those touchdowns away. I'll be honest, they were all within the 5-yard line. And so, but besides his receiving tutty, obviously. But the reason why I think Josh Allen would take that in for a touchdown, but he has a really hurt left hand.
Yeah, and so wearing a glove on him.
He was wearing a glove. So it's like, do I want my quarterback getting hit by 300-pound defensive tackles right in there for the QB sneak? I don't know. Just let me feed it to my running back real quick. So once his hand pretty much heals up, my opinion, I feel like Cook's touchdown production will go a lot less. But I don't know. I see his like rushing attempts, receiving, everything else is still there.
Yeah. Let's just. You got anything else for James Cook?
No, that's pretty much it.
Achane, same game on the other side. 22 attempts, 96 yards, 7 receptions on 7 targets for 69 yards and a touchdown. I mean, that in that game, just nothing was working for the Dolphins, and De'Von Achane took over, even though he was questionable leading into the game. So that surprised me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but I don't know if he keeps up this production if Tua's not playing, and they brought in Tyler Huntley, I think, and so I don't know if he keeps up like this. Like he's gonna get a lot of touches, but if he doesn't have Mostert back, like at some point he's gonna get hurt, man. They were feeding him that ball so many times, man. So I don't know. It's
the
difficult.
Entire offense, but he's a little bit brittle in my opinion. Like he's gonna fall apart.
Yeah.
So
that's what people say, but I mean, as long as he's not broken, he's incredibly talented, bro.
100%.
He's 100%. Fast.
Yeah.
Like he's quick. He can move.
Elusive.
Like he you know.
Yeah.
He got that high ceiling everybody was predicting in the draft.
Definitely.
And he's hitting it, bro.
Yeah.
No, 100%. Yeah. I mean, we like what we see from Achane. Hopefully he can stay healthy, and if if he's the only running back there, if Mostert can't come back, if he keeps getting injured, then he's going to get a lot of the work if he stays healthy. Couple more names here. I mean, I want to talk about Breece Hall, but also in the studs was Braylon Allen. I don't know how you say that guy's name.
Yeah, Braylon.
Both these guys were in the studs. I mean, they both did great. I mean, Braylon Allen had less touches. He had 1 touchdown receiving on 2 receptions and a rush touchdown for 7 attempts. Breece Hall had 14 attempts, 62 yards, no rush touchdown, but a touchdown in the air off of 7 receptions on 8 targets. What do you guys think? I mean, Breece Hall, we know he's going to do good. We expect him to do good. But what do you think of Brandon Allen? Are they working him in? Was it just like, what was that?
I think, I don't know, man. It's a good question.
That's what
Brandon Allen's talented, bro. He's talented. He's hella good. He's the youngest skill position player in the NFL. Little fun fact. Also, one of the handcuffs that I was targeting heavily for anybody in a league with me or who talked to me.
Yeah.
And we'll cover more on the waiver wire episode, but
yeah. No, he did great. I mean, we can discuss him more in the waiver episode because he'll be on there for sure. But some interesting name. I don't know if he does it again, but we'll have to wait and see. Couple other names: James Conner, he's been killing it. Derrick Henry, of course. Ramondre, surprisingly, and then Jordan Mason, who if you wasn't on a team, waiver pickup last week, and then J.K. Dobbins. Do you guys see the production for Jordan Mason continuing?
As long as CMC is out, that's pretty much it.
Of course. Yeah.
He's a great plug-and-play player.
He's in a system with the Niners, bro. Like, he's going to be good.
He'll be solid.
Yeah. I mean, he had not much in the air, only 1 reception, but 20 rush attempts, 100 rush yards, and a touchdown. We said it in the last episode. We said, start Jordan Mason over a lot of other players. So if you did, you're happy with that. And then J.K. Dobbins, man, I'm scared he's going to fall apart. But if he doesn't, he could be a league winner, man, off the waivers if you got him week 1. 17 attempts.
100%, man. It's just a matter of staying healthy again. I know it's like kind of beating a dead horse, but
yeah.
He gets hurt often, but if he stays healthy, bro, it's crazy because he's so much more efficient than Gus Edwards.
Yeah, dude, the difference is night and day, bro. It's crazy.
But the thing is, though, he is playing against the teams that he went up against. It was the Raiders and the Panthers. Their defenses, the run defenses, is not the best. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not too high on him yet. I feel like his challenge next week will be Pittsburgh next week, and Pittsburgh has a great run defense. So if he performs against Pittsburgh, then I'll be like, all right, he's the guy this year for sure. Like,
I really think he could do it. And I really think that J.K. Dobbins is pretty much flex worthy. And if you don't have a good RB2, do you take J.K. Dobbins next week against Pittsburgh, or do you take Jonathan Taylor against Chicago next week?
JT.
Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
Yeah, but way too ezy.
No, but I mean, Jonathan Taylor has been. I mean, has he been performing? I mean, he had
it was a very weird game. That game script.
Oh, brother,
very weird,
crazy. And Chicago's defense is pretty good. I mean, I know Pittsburgh defense is better, but Chicago's defense is pretty good. And Anthony Richardson. I mean, we don't have to get into it, but I bring it up because I'm like, look, Jonathan Taylor is not performing the way you expected him to.
Are you talking about week 1, or you mean
even again? I mean, week 1 he didn't perform like as much as you would expect. He had 16 attempts, 48 yards and a touchdown. Without the touchdown, he only had very few fantasy points. Last week he had 100 yards on the ground, but and a couple yards in the air. But that game was just, I mean, I'm just throwing names out there to compare them. Like, where do you compare them? Above each other, below each other?
The thing is that that game was literally a fluke game. The Colts started performing in the 4th quarter. So that's where Jonathan Taylor, most of his rushing yards came from, was literally the 4th quarter. Finally, the coach handing him the ball, and he had one breakout run. So I don't know. I'm still high on Jonathan Taylor. I feel like that game was just a weird game.
Tony Pollard against Green Bay next week, or do you take J.K. Dobbins against Pittsburgh?
JK. I'm going JK.
That's a good question. Probably JK.
Yeah.
I actually might, in that situation, lean Tony Pollard just because I don't know what's happening with Justin Herbert. If Justin Herbert doesn't play, I go the other way.
Yeah.
Actually, if Justin Herbert doesn't play, I go J.K. Dobbins. I think they lean on the run game there, and like they just lean on him.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Gotcha. Anyways, that's enough with the running backs. Let's get into the tight ends. George Kittle, He did good. He's kind of boomer bust in my opinion.
Yeah, very.
And this week he boomed. He had 7 receptions, 76 yards, and a touchdown on 8 targets. Deebo's gonna be out for a few weeks, no?
Yeah,
because
he got a calf strain.
Right. So George Kittle could get more work. Is Kittle I thought he got carted off or something happened to him at the end of that game. What was that?
He did walk off and then came back.
Came back. Okay. I thought something. Okay. Someone said he got carted off. Maybe I misheard that. But he had some sort of injury, but he's fine. I mean, there's no.
He came back in the game and got a catch.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then he should be fine then.
Yeah.
Without Deebo there, then I mean, he's going to get more targets for sure, and he could be more consistent.
Yeah.
Trey McBride, Cardinals, you know what I'm saying? They're everywhere. All the studs are Cardinals players. 6 receptions, 67 yards on 6 targets. No touchdown for Trey McBride. But he did pretty solid in terms of the tight ends. I mean,
yeah,
you drafted him to do what he did. I think he had a fumble, but he didn't lose the fumble.
No, James Conner fumbled.
He recovered the fumble and he scored the touchdown. I was like, "Where's the touchdown?" I was like,
James Conner fumbled it at the 1. Ball rolled in the end zone and he jumped on top of it.
Yeah,
and so he recovered a fumble and that was his touchdown. So without that,
he's an amazing, solid floor tight end right now. And in the tight end landscape, may God help you.
Don't worry, brother. Fade the tight end. Say it every year.
Hey, man, you're not wrong. Next, we have Hunter Henry, who was my tight end sleeper. And we'll see if he can keep it up. It might just be this week against Seattle. 8 receptions, 109 yards. Very good for tight end since the tight end landscape's pretty whatever. Anything there with Hunter Henry? Or just kind of.
I think, honestly, even week 1, he saw a lot of targets, bro.
Yeah.
I think as long as it's what's his name? Jacoby Brissett out there?
Yeah.
Right? Then he's gonna get looks.
Right.
I think he's definitely a viable option. But more to cover in the waiver wire episode.
Yeah. I think he does get looks, but he is going against really good defenses coming up. You got the Jets, you got San Francisco, you got Miami, you got Houston, so we got to pretty much see where he's going to be there.
I just think there's no one else really to catch the ball. And I just think that he can if you get the ball to him, he can reel it in. So that's why I put him as my tight end sleepers. There's no one else really there.
Yeah, the receiving talent isn't amazing, right? If we look at the target breakdown really quickly, right? Hunter Henry, 12 targets.
Crazy.
Jalen Polk, 3. That's second place. KJ Osborne, 2. Austin Hooper, 1.
Yeah.
So
he's got a majority of the target share there for sure, by far. We'll talk about it more in the waivers. Next we had Brock Bowers, who's been doing pretty good. He was if you took a late shot tight end grab and you picked up Brock Bowers, you're happy. 9 receptions on 9 targets, 98 yards. 14.3 fantasy points. He's pretty good, man. He's looking good.
Yeah, I drafted Brock Bowers this year, but traded him away like an idiot. But it's okay. Was very high because I faded the tight end. I'm like, yep, that's the only tight end available. Let me get him. Didn't think he'd be this crazy, but he's the guy, man.
He's not crazy, but he's doing very well for a tight end. I mean, in terms of his first two games, he did. I mean, second game he did better than his first game even, and so I think we're going to keep seeing good production out of him. And I'm surprised too. I wasn't really big on him. But he's showing out, so doing good. Next we have Mike Gesicki in Cincinnati now. 9 targets, 7 receptions, 91 yards. Do you guys think he's just producing because, they're missing T. Higgins and Joe Burrow is just not that good, or do you think that he's just going to continue to see more of the target share?
I really like Mike Gesicki. I feel like he's still going to get that target share when Higgins comes back. He should have had more fantasy points week 1, but they called back his touchdown because he slightly muffled it. So
that's right.
I like Mike Gesicki, man. I like him a lot.
I'm also like kind of a fan. I think also more in the waiver wire episode about him, but he was cooking Chiefs defenders over the middle, bro. Like he's solid. He's solid for like a Burrow option to look at.
Yeah, and Chiefs are not a bad defense. So, that's it for the studs. Let's move into the duds. Let's start with QBs. I mean, I'm just going to name these guys off. I don't think we need to spend too much time on a lot of these guys. We had Mahomes, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, Anthony Richardson. Are any of these guys a concern for you, or are they just bad weeks?
Just bad weeks.
I think. Yeah.
All right.
More
Next.
so bad weeks. I think. I mean, just a couple of notes. I mean, it's a matter of when these guys will bounce back, right? Mahomes, like the biggest one being Mahomes, right? Like, and I know we're gonna talk about Kelsey later, but he had the second fewest passing yards in his career this week.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
And they're still kind of winning game, just somehow, some way.
Yeah, just weird.
Brother, somehow, brother, it's the referees. Somehow. That's the how.
We're gonna discuss politics in this podcast, but yeah, I get it. Yeah. So, but yeah, the rest, they'll bounce back.
They'll bounce.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that game, I mean, Dak Prescott against a really good Saints defense, I'll give it to him.
Number 1 defense.
Number 1 defense, guys. Hey, you heard it here first. So if they end up being number 1 defense, this is where you heard it first.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, you're obviously not worried about him. Let's move on to the wide receivers. I'm just going to name these guys off. We might even be missing some people here, but the worst one for me, I drafted this guy. It's Christian Kirk, terrible. Keon Coleman, Amari Cooper, Deontay Johnson, Tank Dell, Jamar Chase, Michael Pittman, DJ Moore. Just not good. Just none of these guys. You drafted a lot of them pretty high. Some of them, I mean, Keon Coleman, you might take a shot on him. So the rookie, he did straight 0, right? Donut, goose egg.
Oh, horrible!
Yeah. Straight donut.
Yeah,
drop him.
I mean, I think maybe possibly discuss like the biggest duds here, right? Which how I quantify that is like the highest draft value. And
I mean, Jamar Chase,
how bad they performed, right? So we got Jamar Chase, first rounder.
Right.
What's going on,
bro?
With him.
He just whines too much, dude. He's just a whiner, dude. Like
they're not paying him.
They're not going to pay him on the field. He's arguing with the refs, unsportsmanlike conduct. It's like, what are you doing, dude?
Get rid of him. In my opinion, get rid of him. If he blows up one week, trade him away. After seriously. I heard about the news, they're saying they're like, oh, we're just not gonna pay him. Like Bengals came out and said that, right? Earlier in the week. As soon as I saw that, I was like, bro, as soon as if he blows up one game, get rid of him, bro.
Yeah.
Let
him go off and then be like, oh, bro, he's back. Trust me, bro. He's good.
Yeah, bro. I think every fantasy manager is already trying to get rid of him. But moving on, I think a couple other names here, like in the mid rounds, it's like DJ Moore, Michael Pittman. Any thoughts? Do these guys have any optimism for the rest of the season?
So look, I honestly was like with Jamar Chase, I'm blaming Jamar Chase. With Pittman and DJ Moore, dude, it's low-key on their quarterbacks. Like they're playing solid. They're getting open, but they're just not hitting them, dude.
I mean, DJ Moore had 6 receptions on 10 targets, 53 yards. It's not a bad game. I don't even think I would consider it. I mean,
it's not bad, but when you consider the aspect of no Rome Odunze, no Keenan Allen in the game.
Keenan Allen played,
no, Keenan didn't play, but Odunze played.
Odunze played. That's what it was. Sorry. Yeah. I mean, Caleb Williams, rookie quarterback, he's starting to look like Bryce Young. 6 receptions on 10 but 10 targets for DJ Moore is reassuring. If you had DJ Moore 5 targets, like 3 receptions, it's a little bit, you get a little nervous. But the targets are going his way.
Yeah.
Is he a trade candidate? Maybe. We can discuss that later. Trade for him. Okay.
For him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's a good
for
player.
DJ Moore, you're saying?
Yeah, I'm trading for DJ Moore just because he's not that high right now.
Yeah. But, I mean, you're not wrong. I was thinking if you want, you can wait for him to go off and then get rid of him, ship him off if you don't want to deal with that inconsistency. Because I mean, dude, you're dealing with the rookie quarterback. Any day he can just be like, I just want to be garbage today, and then you lose out on you lose your week because of it. Yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about DJ Moore. Are you guys worried about Pittman? I know MFB was talking about him in the preseason. We talked about
worried.
Pittman. Yeah, you worried about Pittman?
Very, very worried. Alec Pierce is AR-15's favorite target. I'm sorry.
Well, the deep. He had 15 targets. He had 7 receptions for 52 yards, which is not bad. He had 15 targets that game.
Alec Pierce?
No, I'm talking about Michael Pittman.
No,
oh, wow.
7 receptions.
But I'm telling you, bro, that game was just weird, dude. That game was just weird.
He's getting he's obviously getting targeted. And it was MFB we talked about this in the preseason about Anthony Richardson's just not accurate. He can launch it. So Alec Pierce is getting, some good catches, some long shots, but I mean, yeah, Michael Pittman's just not doing it, not producing in terms of fantasy.
Yeah.
One more name I want to bring, Amari Cooper. What do you do with him? I want to bring him up. What do you do with Amari Cooper?
Throw him away, bro.
Keep away. Do you trade him?
Don't draft him, bro. That's what I did.
Yeah, he was on my do not draft list, bro. Listen to the Hoodneys, cousin.
There you go. That's why I listen to the podcast.
I mean,
3 receptions, 11 yards on 8 targets. He only got 3 of his 8 targets, man.
Bro, Jacksonville defense is not a crazy defense. It's just the Browns are not that good. That's what blows my mind. The Cooper should have been solid. Watson's not playing like Watson, dude.
I mean, Jerry Jeudy had. Let me just think about this. Jerry Jeudy, he wasn't in the studs list, but 14 targets, 8 receptions, 98 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah, as opposed to Jeudy was hot that game.
Sure. Yeah, that's Jeudy though.
Hold on. Let me go back. That was the whole season.
Okay. Okay.
Back to earth. Yeah. 5 receptions, 73 yards, 6 targets.
Oh, okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
So X that out. But yeah, 6 not as many targets, but more receptions, more yardage. So Jeudy seems like more value if you drafted a player from Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's like the same issue with the Pittman, right? It's a QB issue, really.
Yeah,
mm-hmm. 100% connection issue. So, and that's the kind of thing where with fantasy, like it could be connected one week and then disconnected another week, or it could be like disconnected for 4 to 5 weeks, and then boom, the last half of the season, strong connection. We out here,
right?
Yeah.
So timing that is it's hard,
very difficult. I want to talk about Deontay Johnson real quick before we go into the RB duds.
No, we don't have to
give a quick shout out to MFB for
calling out Andy Dalton as the starter, and Bryce Young is getting benched.
That's crazy.
I did.
Someone was high on Bryce Young, bro. That's crazy. I don't know who was high on that.
Someone wearing a Russell sweatshirt.
Russell jersey. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, bro, whatever you can make fun of me all you want. That was your QB sleeper, bro. Man. He's benched in 2 weeks.
Look, bro,
2 performances.
I'll own up to my mistake. I'm sorry. Don't play a Panthers player. That's it. Done. The rest of the season.
So I was going to ask you, Andy Dalton being the starter, can you flex Deontay Johnson? That's probably where you drafted him as a flex, right?
Yeah, but not the first couple weeks though. Just see how it plays out, man. Don't risk that.
Okay.
No, don't risk that.
It's like a desperation start if needed.
Yeah.
Not a confident start.
It's definitely not a confident start.
Yeah.
Well, I do think they'll look better, and they have a chance. They play, I mean, Raiders D is like whatever.
Yeah.
If there's a Raiders games to lose, it's versus Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Let's move into RB duds. Let's just bring them all up. Rachaad White, Joe Mixon, Jerome Ford, Samir White, Zach Moss. Joe Mixon got injured, so that one was. I think he's still questionable. I don't know if he's still if they said anything about.
So after he got hurt a little bit, he went back into the game, but he was not looking as efficient. So then they put Cam Akers right back in. So I'm not too sure on Joe Mixon. So pretty much once he gets healed up, he's kind of dead right now. But
until we're sure he's healthy, or if he's injured, then obviously put him on your IR spot. But yeah, if he plays again next week, keep your eye out.
Yeah, I wouldn't call him a dud because one thing I did notice with Mixon, right, is the Texans struggled to earn like good yardage without him in the game, right? So they their offense works the best when they have the versatility of the good running back.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Also, even just executing block assignments as a running back, you know, to help the passing. So they probably would really want Joe Mixon back ASAP.
Yeah. Anything else on Mixon?
No. Okay. Mixon.
Rachaad White also got injured, so he's on the duds list. But he strained his groin during the is a groin injury.
Oh, I did not know that. Yeah. I mean, if you picked up Bucky Irving, good job.
Irving's a very great pickup. I think. I don't know, man. Just Rachaad White wasn't able to do much. The Lions' run D is very good. Like their front line is good, right? But I feel like Irving deserves to be more involved. So I don't know if we'll see that in the future, but something to look out for and try to grab Bucky Irving if you can.
Right.
That's my outlook for Rachaad White.
Yeah. Speaking of White, what about Zamir White? He had. Let's see. Last week he had 9 attempts, 24 yards, 3 receptions on 4 targets. Yeah, it was just. What do you guys think of the Raiders like running backs? Both of them now.
Don't touch them.
Zamir White, I wouldn't touch.
Don't touch him.
The thing is, Madison is a much more valuable asset, right? And then Madison also saw the goal line work.
Yeah.
Right. And he sees
that's true.
The passes. So what's the point of Zamir White in fantasy, right?
Yeah. Anything happens to Alexander Madison, then Zamir White becomes valuable. But other than that, he's not doing anything good.
Yeah.
Zach Moss. I mean, anything to talk about there?
Not really.
On the bright side, it seems like he's the go-to guy in Bengals backfield, right?
Right.
So that kind of solves the question of
Chase
is it him or Chase Brown?
Right.
You have your answer. They played a tough defense, didn't have a good week. It's like a touchdown-dependent fantasy option.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, let's move into the tight end duds. The number one, Travis
Kelce. I want to talk about Jerome Ford.
Jerome Ford, bro.
All right, let's go back. Jerome Ford.
Well, mainly I want to say this point, right, is he got out-carried by Donta Foreman. So that was kind of interesting, if anybody saw the game, right? So it's kind of an interesting timeshare there. I think the only takeaways I have for fantasy advice is Foreman will be the guy who'd probably get maybe more carries, maybe more goal line duties, but then Jerome Ford will be more the passing back.
For fantasy owners, just wait for Nick Chubb. Go trade for him.
Don't touch anyone in Cleveland.
Just
don't start
wait
these guys.
for Nick Chubb. Trust me.
Yeah, don't start these guys.
Yeah.
Tight end duds. Yeah, Kelce. BTB, I think in one of our leagues you drafted for him. I mean, you traded for him.
I'm about to lose it, dude. I get so hot, dude. Traded for him. I'm not gonna say what the trade was, so I might get flamed on the podcast.
Do not discuss.
But Kelce,
he had a rush attempt. He had a rush attempt.
But look,
1 yard.
Yeah. It was that little flick pass. I saw it. It was that little flick, or not pass, but it was like a little flick.
He like a lateral or whatever.
Yeah. But look, Pacheco's out for a while. They don't know what
for 5 yards.
Oh yeah. But Pacheco's out for a while. They're RBs. They got Steele. They got P. Ryan. Talking to Kareem Hunt and Clyde Edwards-Helaire is coming back from his PTSD, whatever he had. So basically, the ball is going to be thrown, and I'm praying Kelce does his thing. I'm holding him on for at least 1, maybe even 2 more weeks.
Yeah,
that's it.
It's a tough outlook.
What do you mean holding on for him? You're going to drop him?
No, I'll give him away for just a mid-tier.
I'm calling this now. Kelce is this year's time bomb, like Pitts. Like you drop him to the waivers and let someone else deal with him, bro. Imagine
I can't drop Travis Kelce, bro. I can't drop him.
Look,
It's too much, man.
Imagine he just dropped this guy to the waivers. The rush that people like just if there's a fab system, how many people would throw fab on him?
We saw the lowest fantasy output of Kelce since 2018, right? Mm-hmm. And now it's really the question of, hey, were you a year too late on the Kelce fall off?
I was,
and you took him on your team.
Oh yeah, right? You were.
And another problem is like the Chiefs are still winning games, right? If they were losing games, it's like, oh shit, hey, maybe let's use Kelce.
Yeah,
now it's like, hey, we're winning, bro. Like, hey, Kelce,
man, Kelce's not, bro. This guy's on podcasts. He's talking to Taylor Swift, bro. He doesn't care about football, bro. They won 2 chips in a row. They don't even need him. He had 1 reception, bro, and they won the game. He's chilling, bro. That fool's not practicing.
Well, then explain the fall off of Laporta, because Laporta hasn't won shit yet, but they ain't using him.
Jameson Williams.
Jameson was stud.
Jameson Williams didn't have him last year. He was out all year because they suspended him. Because
he came back.
He came back after
week 6 last year.
Week 6. It was week 6.
Was it?
But he didn't do any training camp, nothing. They just started working him into the thing. Laporta had already established himself, but over the summer, they got to train with and practice with Jameson Williams. They like what they saw. They got a full camp with him and everything. I just think Jameson Williams is doing more of the receiving work. And I don't know. I can't explain Sam Laporta because, I mean, he was I think the tight end 1 in drafts. Like he was going like number 1.
It was, in some drafts,
1-2.
1-2, yeah, with Kelce.
Yeah.
Man, idiots, whoever did not fade the tight end, huh?
Yeah, brother.
This goes back. This is why you fade the tight end.
100% fade the tight end. 100%. It's all good.
He had 3 targets, 2 receptions, 13 yards. Sickening. If you have Sam Laporta, you're swinging at the air all of Sunday, all of the Lions game, literally just frantically swinging at the air the whole time, just furious. I don't know what to do with him. I'll be honest with you. I have no idea.
I'd wait on it. Same thing as Kelce, man. Just wait on it.
I mean,
how much more better tight ends are there?
You're not dropping either of these guys, obviously.
Yeah.
So if you have Kelce or Laporta, and you get Gesicki or Hunter Henry off the waivers, do you start those guys over Kelce or Laporta?
Look, if you have the balls to do that, go for it. But I don't. I would, because I'd rather be, if I lose and it's because I didn't start Travis Kelce, I'd be very annoyed. But if I lose and I started Mike Gesicki, you know what I'm saying? I'm not really getting as annoyed.
It's too much of a high risk, high reward play.
High risk, high reward, bro. We'll see next week if it would have been worth it, man. But couple other duds. Kincaid, I put Likely in there because he went crazy week 1, and then
I think Kincaid at least he saw positive numbers from week 1, right?
Yeah. No,
it wasn't amazing, but still positive numbers.
4 targets, 4 receptions.
The thing with Likely is, I think people just counted out Mark Andrews too early, right? As if he wasn't going to be part of the offense. But I mentioned he was still running a lot of routes. He's still in the game. He's still part of the offense. Yeah, and that's what we saw.
Yeah,
Likely was still used, but not majorly.
2 receptions, 3 targets, 26 yards. Nothing compared to game 1. So the reports are saying that the Chiefs just basically triple covered Mark Andrews, so then Likely was able to get the ball. So yeah, I mean, if you got Likely off the waivers, hold on to him. I mean, the tight end landscape is terrible, so hold on to him. If he pops off, trade him. If Mark Andrews gets injured, I mean, then his value goes up crazy. I think we saw what he can do if given the chance. So yeah, keep him. Don't drop him. Kincaid, all the touchdowns with James Cook, it all went on the floor.
Yeah. So, honestly, I wouldn't be too worried if I'm a Kincaid owner. Honestly, if Kincaid's you can go trade for him, I'd go trade for him. That Dolphins game was weird ever since Tua went down with that concussion. So,
man, that was sad.
Yeah, very sad. But honestly, the game went just weird the entire way after. So I'm not worried about Kincaid.
Yeah. No, neither am I. The players to worry about, Kelce, Laporta, likely's whatever, but Kelce and Laporta, I mean, I don't know, man. Someone's probably sending you some. Dude, if you can go and trade Kelce for Brock Bowers right now, do you do it? I mean,
should I spill the beans? That might have been in one of my trades that I did it. But that's the only information I'm doing, brother.
Seriously though, honest question, both of you guys, do you trade Kelce for Brock?
I'm not doing that trade one.
I have. I don't think I have the
give me like 2 weeks either. Give me like 2 weeks, and then I'll come back to
the Brock Bowers owner might not be willing to do it.
Compare offenses, bro.
Yeah, I don't know.
True.
Bro. No, I'm just fed up.
Yeah, I get it. The volume is a discrepancy, but the offense is also a discrepancy.
That's true.
They're not like really equaling out.
Kelce will have his games. I'm joking about dropping him to the waivers. I mean, yeah, it sounds like fun. It's easy to say that when you don't have him, but obviously you're going to hold on to Kelce. But when do you say enough is enough? I need to get rid of this guy or trade him or do something with him. We don't know. It's only been 2 weeks. We shall see if he keeps up that horrible performances. And see if he's just only focusing on podcasts and Taylor Swift going forward.
Yeah.
Maybe he needs to get his heart broken. Maybe if Taylor Swift dumps him, we'll see the rise of Kelce, the return of Kelce, bro. He'll be on the field going crazy.
Yeah.
Getting touchdown after touchdown to make up for that.
Come on, I know last week you were saying don't hit the panic button, brother. I am so close of hitting that panic button, brother. So close.
Week one was, a bye. If someone did bad week one or poorly and you expected them to do good, you can kind of say, all right, whatever. It's just week one, who knows? Week two is starting to get a little dicey. So starting to get a little nervous. That's all I have for studs and duds. Anyone else that you guys want to bring up that you guys can think of over the weekend? Anything?
Not really.
No? All right. All right. That'll do it for this episode. Studs and Duds, week 2. Tune in next time for the waiver episode. And we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Sir.
Peace.
Peace.